Okay, what is up, guys? I had a little bit of downtime here at the house due to the whole virus thing going on, so I figured I'd go ahead and take advantage of my time at home and change out some fluids on the YXZ. I'm gonna do an oil change first, and then I'll probably change the front and rear diff fluid as well. Okay, so I got the manual out. I've changed the oil on this thing probably 4 times, and I still get the manual out every time. It's hard to remember the exact amount of fluids you need. I'm gonna go ahead and change out the oil filter this time. I didn't change it last time. Those things are normally good for several hundred miles, so I didn't do it last time. I figured I'll go ahead and do it this time. So I'm going to use this Lucas motorcycle oil, 20W50, because it's summertime. During the winter I think I use 10W40. When I lived down in North Carolina, I was buddies with a guy that worked on drag cars, and he always recommended using Lucas. They use Lucas in all their cars, so I've always used that on my Mustangs and different cars and had no problems with it. So the first thing you got to do when you start your oil change, you have to take this cover off the oil reservoir there, just to gain access to the plug in the bottom here. And one thing I'm just realizing now is I don't have a crush washer, so I'm going to have to reuse that crush washer, but it should be okay as long as it's not leaking. So I'll go ahead and loosen that up. Okay, I'll show you where the oil filter is. Right there. So I'll go ahead and pull that out. Okay, I got the filter off. That's a K&N filter, and they actually come with a built-in nut on the end of it. And if you guys have that, that's an 11/16. But I'll let her drain a little bit, and I'll put the new one on. Okay, I have my new filter here. I'm gonna go ahead and throw that in. One thing you want to do, or you can do, is just dab your finger in the oil and weten up the gasket on the new filter. That way it will spin on there a little bit easier. Okay guys, so I'm going to go ahead and start filling it up. I have everything buttoned up. I have the drain plug back in. I did not have a crush washer for that, so I'm going to have to keep an eye on that, make sure it's not leaking. And I have the filter put back in too, the new one's in. So according to the manual, you're supposed to put 2.85 US quarts into the machine. What I like to do is I'll go ahead and put 2 quarts in, and then I'll add a little at a time, and I'll keep checking it, because the last couple times I put 2.8 in, it was overfilled, so I had to drain a little bit. So I'm not sure if maybe there's oil not completely drained out of it, and that's why, or what. But like I said, I'll go ahead and put 2 in, and we'll check the level after that. Alright guys, so on top of changing the oil, I'm also going to change out the spark plugs. I've only done that once since I've had it. I got these, they're different kind of spark plugs that the guys on the forums recommended. I guess I use them in snowmobiles all the time. I'll leave the link to those in the description. Okay, to get the spark plug out, you have to actually pull these boots off. And the boots have 2 bolts on either side. So you have to pull those off first, then you can get like a flathead or something and get up underneath it and pry them both up, on both sides I mean. Okay, it'll pop off, it'll make like a popping sound. So then you have to get a deep well socket. It's a 16mm socket that'll fit around the spark plug. You loosen that up. I have two little extensions hooked onto mine here, and I already have it loose. And the only problem is when you loosen it, it's not going to come out with the socket. So I went and bought a well, I had this this magnet from Harbor Freight, and you can actually put down inside the hole and hook onto the spark plug and pull it out. So a lot of times when you buy these spark plugs, especially after the aftermarket spark plugs, they don't come with a cap. So there's a little cap that's supposed to go on here on the end. So I ended up taking them off another set I have in my garage. But so these are little caps here, and you can just screw it onto the end of that. That way it makes a good connection with the boot, the spark plug boot. And I put a little bit of dielectric grease on that as well too. And the manual says to torque it to 9.4 foot-pounds, so got the torque wrench set up, and I'm going to go ahead and do that. I got the boot back in. I'm going to put the little bolts back on. Alright guys, I have everything buttoned up. I'm going to give it a start here in a second. Got all the plugs in, got the boots back on. Everything's tightened up. Got that tied back on. Well, a little bit of smoke. That's normal for a cold start.